I feel like a bit of an idiot, right? Because I've been yelling at Brockmire about his podcast. His podcast is due. It's supposed to have celebrity guests. He hasn't actually done it. He's generally irresponsible, but I am loath to admit that I've enjoyed him showing up here every week or so on a semi-regular basis to talk about just sports stuff. And I didn't know, I forgot that it was today that you were coming in, and so I didn't dress better. You crushed me last week. So what are we doing today with my – let's do a fit check here because I really came in poorly dressed today.
Yeah, because the other days you're such a fashion plate. Let's take a look at you today. Well, Dan, you look like you stopped by the studio on your way to teach the least popular curves class in existence. Is there like a special section at Dick's Sporting Goods that sells workout gear for the man who has everything but wants to look like he's got nothing? Because if there, what do you just go down there and just empty entire racks into your car?
All right, let's get to Game 3 last night. You like?
And by the kudos, by the way, there was less whining about the podcast this time. Soon we'll have no whining, but we're progress,
we're
not perfection.
supposed to have a podcast. We're supposed.
I shouldn't have said anything. Here we go.
Okay, regardless.
We're supposed to have a podcast. My hat is enormous.
You really sounds like you.
I don't understand, though.
Close my
Okay,
eyes,
never
hold on.
mind. He's supposed to do his job.
Enjoy what you have. My goodness, Mr. Glass half empty and hat quite full.
Never noticed that. You do got like one of those Brian Robinson fake hats.
The big hats.
Yeah, the big hats. Comically big hats, Dan.
Look who's hey, pot calling kettle black. What's on your head? What the hell is on your head, sir? My God, it's like Miami took a on your head.
Speaking of Miami, Game 3 last night, what were your thoughts, Brockmire? Because we'll get to baseball, I suppose, maybe not, but you have all random sports thoughts on all things topical.
Yeah, we'll get to baseball for sure. I understand. Is your studio right across from the arena? Is that correct?
That's
Yes.
right.
Okay, so maybe you can hang a sign on the front of your building. There it is. Remind Miami Heat fans that a basketball game is, in fact, 48 minutes long. Because every time their team is losing in the last few minutes of a finals game, the entire lower bowl turns tail and exits the building. I mean, you would have thought that after missing out on Ray Allen's shot there, they would have learned their lesson. But no. 4 minutes to go in this one. They all walked out. Well, it looked like the Love Guru started playing on the Jumbotron or something.
Vile.
Remember the Love Guru? Anyone Love Guru?
Yeah.
Mike Meyers.
Mike Meyers. For a while, we were all like, what can't Mike Meyers do? And then we found out. We found out, didn't we? The Love Guru.
Can we get back to the game, please?
Yes. Interesting game. He gave up 30-point triple-doubles to Jokic and Murray.
Yeah.
Very difficult to out-grit a team when they're throwing up those numbers against you.
Yeah.
But the difference in the game was Christian Brown. I mean, my God, what a performance from the Nuggets rookie there. I was very taken with his PG-13 good looks and his muscular build and haircut you can set your watch to. I'm not ashamed to say this. This young man gave me a sports media boner that lasted for more than 3 hours. I had to contact my doctor. Which, by the way, you know that state of affairs, you know this, Dan Le Batard, that's what's known as a Tebow, that level of arousal. Because every once in a while, there comes a white player, a white boy with real athleticism, not scrappy, not an effort guy, a real player with a face that looks like it's just dying to talk about Jesus Christ all the time. Yeah, he's the kind of innate winner who'll be a lot of awful, terrible people's favorite person, you know? He can just lift an entire sports network for months this
Do you have any sports analysis that isn't that Christian Brown is white?
I have real Christian Brown analysis, all kidding aside. As a rookie, he might lack NBA experience, but that also means that his recent college experience includes a lot more zone defense than any of his teammates out there. He's the only Nugget who's ever broken down a zone in a championship game. Did it last year in a tournament with Kansas. Finding soft spots, back cuts, pocket passes to slice up Miami's 2-3 and 2-2-1 zone. That comes easy to him. He's already done it at the very, very highest of levels, so he's
That's
good.
actual analysis,
That's
Dan.
good.
Like, hold on,
It's
man.
good analysis. It's cogent, non-racialized analysis.
Thank you very much.
Thank
now,
you.
You're welcome, Dan. Now, if I could find one word to describe the way Christian Brown, I'm sorry, I'm hitting it.
What is it now? That's a brown liquor.
Well,
You're, will you be a professional?
I got the Sazerac with the Kahlua
You can't
because it's
mix-
morning time.
You can't
and some coffee.
mix those two things. Brockmire, it's
What do
irresponsible.
you mean? Look, you sure you can. I got it right here. Look at it.
Didn't season 4 on Hulu? Weren't you sober?
Wow. I can't decide what you whine more about. My sobriety or the fact that you don't get a podcast. My goodness. We should
Well, don't slow your words when we're talking.
I'm sorry. I'm sure you're right. I should be professional. Christian Brown. I want to get back to him because there's one way to describe the way he plays. One word, in fact, and that word is caucasity.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
He plays with a certain kind of pale-skinned daring do. He's reclaiming the word from all the Karens and the aggressive ponytailed hippies out there. No longer will caucasity only refer to demanding to see the manager or wearing Tiva sandals in public. No, thanks to Christian Brown, we'll also include his magnificent performance off the bench today.
Amin has been chasing around the Jokic brothers. He's warning people don't make jokes at the expense of the Jokic brothers. Do you have anything to warn Brockmire about in the event that he doesn't know that he needs to be careful around the Jokic brothers?
So, Brockmire, I did a video in Denver about how I thought the Jokic brothers were a myth, and there's something propaganda created by the Denver media to make Jokic seem a lot scarier than he really is. And then I saw them yesterday. And let me just tell you, the myths are true. The legends are true. It's like the Loch Ness Monster and the Yeti and the Abominable Snowman all rolled into one. The dude was breathing fire and tattoos on his body were moving as I saw them. Have you ever seen these creatures up close?
No, I haven't. But even through the television, I'm with you. I would encourage Miami Heat fans in those lower sections down there to be very, very careful because it was all courtside adjacent. And at that price point, I'm assuming that Miami fans who got tickets were like shady mortgage brokers and shady pharmaceutical executives or maybe shady club owners, but just not the type of men who should be challenging two dead-eyed Serbian giants to a test of wills, okay? The rich Heat fans, these are balding men in tight shirts who employ goons. They never put themselves in a position to throw hands with goons.
Yeah.
Jokic, they have two settings, those Jokic fellas, seething and rage. And I would hide before being on the receiving end of either of them.
Can we get some predictions here? Because the Heat look like they're in trouble. I want to know what you think is going to happen the rest of the series here.
I don't know. The only thing I'm sure of is that I will love it because I'm a big fan of high stakes basketball. These are the highest stakes possible because, as you know, Dan, I'm a big fan of your patented, the Dan Le Batard Heat culture is actually a cult theory. I think that's some of your finest work.
That's not how that happened. Brockmire, you
that's what you said. You said it. You put it forward.
I did not put it forward.
I'm giving you credit for it. So based on past results, these finals go one of two ways. Yes, this is either the greatest victory in cult history, surpassing even when Scientology extorted the IRS into declaring it a religion so that they could attain tax-free status. Google that. It's true, kids. Or it goes the other way. Spectacular implosion that can be seen from a distance and lingers like a foul stench, like a Waco or a Jonestown. Dan, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that how you would dress is apparently what you're used to.
Is that TLC?
Can you speak up, please?
No, it's supposed to be a funny, like, little...
Brockmire, thank you. I'm running out of time this segment, but I'm not done with you because there are other things that I want to ask you about, including the serious subject matter. I believe I have this right. One of the times you were on with us, it seemed like you were doing work for the Saudis, that you were contaminated and corrupt as well. I have that right, yes?
Yeah, it didn't seem that way. It was that way. Absolutely.
All right, so I want to ask you about what LIV just did, and hopefully we'll get to baseball at some point. Come back with us.
Did LIV do something? I didn't hear. I'll have to look into it and get back to you.
Come back with us, would you?
Sure.
It's coming back to me now because I was embarrassed by it at the time, but he has a way of disarming me because he's charming and drunk. But last time you were on with us, or 2 or 3 times ago, it was clear, yes, that you had been bought by the Saudi wealth fund, and you're just now looking like a pioneer, Brockmire, because at the time I was judging you for it, but now the LIV PGA merger proves that you're just changing the game because you just got that money before other corrupt, contaminated people did.
As usual, I was one step ahead of everybody. I'm getting pretty lit up here. Cheers.
Yeah. Sazerac.
No, that's right. I took their money, Dan. I told you that a while ago. And you know what else? You're not going to get me to denigrate those great and honorable men over there. You know why I'm not going to do that, Dan?
I don't.
Because I like my limbs attached to my body. That's why.
Okay.
And not stacked like cordwood on the linoleum bathroom floor of a courtyard by Marriott.
All right.
Okay?
Linoleum. It's a tough word. I'm not drinking, but it is a tough word.
Linoleum.
I'm not trying to get you into any trouble, but can you give me any insight into why it is that you and PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan end up taking the money to sell their souls?
Sure, because we're whores, Dan Le Batard. How's that for insight? That is why we took the money. But what are we, alone? We're not alone. It's the age of whores, yeah? Where the only choice you ever get is what piece of yourself are you willing to sell? American life right now, it just feels like, you know what American life feels like right now? That scene in Lord of the Rings where they're running away from that giant fire demon, the Balrog, I believe he was called. And their only escape is a bridge that's just collapsing beneath their feet. Mm-hmm. Only one way. Excuse me?
The Bridge of Khazad-dûm.
Khazad-dûm. Wow, even nerdier than I am. Amazing. I thought Balrog was a deep cut.
Balrog of Morgoth, by the way.
But wow, what kind of nerd? What is the nerd festival going on? Are you looking that up, or was that actually handy in your brain?
Looking what up?
Yeah, okay.
What it's called.
Whatever she said, you're running along that thing. It's collapsing beneath your feet. And the only way to escape certain doom, man, I'm lit up, is to leap from rock to rock. You have to make more money. That's the only way you can survive. We're all on OnlyFans in one way or another, except for Dan Le Batard, except for you. I know you, Dan, are living a life without compromise because as a small child, you dreamed of having an empire funded by sports gambling being available right in the palm of your hand. It's a dream fulfilled thanks to the wonderful people at DraftKings. But the rest of us, we're not so lucky. Some of us still have to hustle for a living. So, yeah, I sold my dignity and my big fat mouth for what now looks like a very small amount of money.
Are you saying the commissioner of the PGA prostituted himself?
No. Because if he had actually done that, I would respect it a lot more than what he did. Like if Jay Monahan decided to hang out in a rundown bathroom stall at an abandoned public park giving out handies for crumpled up $20 bills, that would be a lot more honorable than what he actually did. See, because to me, voluntarily tugging on somebody's pud, that's no different. That's like pulling a lever in some factory. Like you're putting food on the table, you're trying to keep a roof over your head. Only difference is the hours in the bathroom stall are better than at the factory. But Monahan, he's not struggling to get by now, is he? He's not some down on his luck, poorly dressed baseball broadcaster who will gladly pimp himself out to DraftKings now that LIV is going out of business. By the way, note to DraftKings, I am available. No, Jay Monahan, very, very rich man already. Tens of millions of dollars in the bank, set for life. Kids are set for life, which means he didn't sell his entire soul for peace of mind or security. He sold it for a bigger yacht, docked at a more expensive club. Gosh, a year ago, he stood in front of every microphone and camera that he could, and he planted a pedestal atop the highest horse to wag his finger at anybody who'd ever dare accept blood money. But he turns out to be the kind of twisted freak for whom the illusion of ethics, that was a negotiating tactic to get the maximum amount of that same blood money pumped right into his veins. Absolutely despicable. And something I would have done in a second if they gave me half the chance, as would most people. Except for Dan, of course, we named him, and one other chosen golden man, just a Christ-like figure who has rejected the hundreds of millions of dollars the Saudi Wealth Fund offered him so that he can accept slightly less money to live and play in Miami. I'm, of course, talking about Mr. Lionel Messi. Cheers to you guys.
Oh, wow.
You tricked me, Brockmire.
Wow.
What kind of shit is that?
Switcheroo.
What do you mean? It's August. This is the biggest news in the history of professional soccer in America. It should be celebrated, especially by Miami's own Dan Le Batard. But I did find it. Did you hear him? I found it a little amusing the way Messi spoke about his desire to come and play in the MLS. He said he wanted to come to the United States, I'm quoting now, to live football in another way and enjoy the day-to-day more. To live and play soccer in a calmer way, he said, which basically means, like so many others before him, he's moving to Florida, seeking an active retirement. So, I look forward to watching him be the best player in MLS history as he lets himself go and gets a pot-bellied and grabs a tan.
Yeah, that is the way to do it.
It is shocking to me. Now, one more thing about the Messi thing. It's the very idea that he would give up $600 million from the Saudis to move to Florida. Personally, I would not live in Florida if you paid me $600 million.
Enough with this, Brockmire. It's my home state. Come on, knock it off. What are you doing?
I'm sorry, Florida. Coasts are nice for parts of the year, I suppose. And I'm sure the paved over swamps of Central Florida have some good people in them who don't know any better, I guess. But it does not matter to me. If Shangri-La itself was located south of Tallahassee, I would still avoid it because you know why? I refuse to live in any place where I would ever be forced to see Ron DeSantis' face on my television more than I already do. My God. Honestly, have you ever seen such a vacuous, charmless void of a person? His laugh is just, even his laugh is hideous. He just looks like a horse eating an apple, doesn't he? Just teeth and strained neck and effort. Now look at him. Oh, and now that he's running for president, oh, look at him. What's his first order of business? Running for president. First thing he does, takes Florida tax money to trick a group of asylum seekers in Texas. What's he doing bothering with folks over there so they can be flown in a private plane to Sacramento so they can be dropped off at a Catholic church as some kind of a prank?
Yeah.
Like he's like the Johnny Knoxville of human trafficking now, just tooth laughing at the very idea of human empathy. Gee, I guess, Dan, it's the woke mind virus now to think that people should be treated as something other than livestock, huh? I want to clean this up for radio or whatever we're on, but he's I'm going to choose my words carefully. He's a rancid little that's what he is.
Yo, he went finger guns. I didn't notice that.
This just came to me. Who he reminds me of, in all seriousness. Do you remember the movie Weird Science? Remember that film?
Yes.
Extraordinarily problematic tale of two horny teenagers who conjure up Kelly LeBrock on their computers so they can have sex with her. It's a heartwarming story and a hoodles.
The 80s.
That is what happened.
That's exactly what happened. In that movie, there was a bully in that movie named Chet. Remember him?
Yes.
He gets turned into this giant monster.
It's true.
That's Ron DeSantis. That's who he reminds me of, DeSantis. But actually, that doesn't hold up because Chet was played by the legendary Bill Paxton in one of his earliest roles.
Really?
Yeah.
He was. Yeah, look that up. And even as a monster, Bill Paxton had more charm and humanity than DeSantis could ever convey in 1,000 lifetimes. Plus, at the end of the film, Paxton as Chet expresses, tangible regret for being so disgusting and repellent, which of course DeSantis would never ever do. And old Ronnie boy, he's the unrepentant kind of monster, just vomiting filth all around him and then blaming you for having the audacity to be bothered by the smell. What a wretched.
Yes.
God, Florida. Here's to Florida.
All right, enough though. No politics with your sports. You're supposed to be doing a baseball segment for us. I don't think we have any imaging ready because we never do. Don't we have a Strike 4 with Jim Brockmire segment that we're supposed to be doing here?
It's a good name.
Strike 4. So that's the name? Our baseball segment finally gets a name?
I don't know.
That's what you guys came up with, huh?
It's supposed to be sold. We don't have sponsoring. I was hoping to get pills. We don't have it. Oh!
You do have the
That's
pills?
the music?
We don't have a library or catalog. We can't afford real music, so it's ragtime.
This is like the bar scene in the first Star Wars movie. What's going on over there?
40 years before that, a saloon
Mos Eisley Cantina.
with flappers.
Pills was a light-hitting second baseman for the Philadelphia Phillies back in the 40s. And what'd you call it? Strike 4?
Yeah,
With Jim
Strike
Brockmire?
4 with Jim Brockmire.
Yeah, thanks, guy. I'm sure that, I'm sure your producers have given almost as much thought to that name as they did to their lunch order today. So thank you.
So bad.
But yeah, I'm here to talk about the biggest story in baseball this week. Can we kill the music now? Because it's throwing me off. I feel like I'm about to... Hans shot first, by the way.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did. Hans shot first. All right. Biggest story in baseball this week, Oakland A's. In the running, this is true, for the worst baseball team in baseball history, which, newsflash, folks, goes back a very, very long way. Beginning of June, that's where we are. They've already been outscored by 200 runs. That is stultifying. They are 14-50, which means they're challenging not only just the expansion Mets record of 40 and 120 in 1962, but the Cleveland Spiders record of 20 and 134, which comes all the way back from 1899. Nothing that happened in 1899 should ever be repeated in 2023. No, that era was like all of the industrialism and all of the racism all at once. Let's not go back there. Now, why are the A's so bad, man? Because John Fisher, their owner, wants them to be bad. He figures that the worse they are, the easier it'll be to move the team to Las Vegas. But who's John Fisher? Who is he? He is the fail son of the two founders of the Gap clothing empire. Isn't capitalism fun?
Yeah.
Isn't it just great? We all bought jeans in the mall 30 years ago, and now Oakland doesn't get to have a baseball team. Unless the stadium funding deal that they are seeking from Nevada is not assured of going through. Fisher might have made the A's so darn bad that nobody wants to pony up $1 billion in tax dollars to get him. So maybe for once, somebody born on third doesn't get to fail their way across home plate. But, you know, as usual, I have my doubts about anything good ever happening again. So I'm not holding my breath. I'm just going to drink my Kahlua and coffee and Sazerac.
Yeah, your breath smells like liquor too early in the morning. Do you have anything to plug before you get out of here?
Not really, but I do have a... Well, apart from begging somebody to give me a job, now that I'm out of my live golf job. But I do have a call to action to your audience, if I might, Dan. I would just love it if people out there listening could take clips of Chet Monster from Weird Science, take clips of him talking, the guy talking, and play audio of Ron DeSantis being a Weasley little dingleberry underneath it, and then tweet it at the show. Why, I don't know. I think I would just find it amusing, and it's better than actually having to look at his stupid face.
All right, very good, Brockmire. You can't talk like that on the podcast. We'll talk to you next week.
Just did, Dan Le Batard, just did.
Sober up, please, sir. Thank you.
Is it cold in the studio? Because the nerdy lady who was yelling out Lord of the Rings stuff is all in a. Why is she in a blankie? But does she only feel safe in there with you animals wrapped up like that? I wouldn't blame her.
It's so cold.